Hello, my name's Laura, and I'm here to introduce my son, Patrick Flanagan, who is loved more than he will ever know. As I stand before you, I'm filled up. I'm filled with awe. I'm filled with love, and I'm filled with so much gratitude. I have so much gratitude toward Brian and Christine Corson, who breathed life into this mystical community of recovery called MVP. I am so thankful to MVP because you saved the life of my son, and indirectly you saved my life, and you save lives one person at a time, one soul at a time, one day at a time. And I'm also thankful to all of you who came out tonight, for showing up, for listening to what I have to say and to what all these wonderful people have to say about a life of sobriety and recovery. For most of my life, I've tried to hide my true self. I was raised in a very large brood of tough, competitive, high-powered, physical and intellectual brawlers. I knew early on that I didn't fit in, but I didn't know why. I tried to pass for tough so I could be one of the gang. For well on 60 years, I kept up this ruse, and I kept some dark secrets. But then something happened. My perfect, beautiful, brilliant son came out as wounded and imperfect. Very much the beautiful boy, but with a serious condition called addiction. Very much the brilliant son, but with mysterious cognitive differences that make the confines of a school classroom feel more like the walls of a prison. My son Patrick came out as vulnerable and wounded. He took a risk, and he came out as imperfect. He took a risk, and he came out as his true self. In doing this, he showed me how to do the same. I'm still grappling with the truth of Patrick's illness and my own illness, and I'm not out of the woods by any means. I have a long journey ahead to get to where I want to be. But I made the first and most important step. I mustered up the courage to come out as imperfect, vulnerable, hopeful, and willing to take a risk, willing to take a gamble on honesty. When I faced the truth of Patrick's addiction, the bulwark of my ego came crumbling down, and my frightened, sensitive self, the person who had been hiding out inside my primitive monkey mind for lo these many decades, was exposed. The jig was up. I was found out. Patrick, or Patch as we call him, took the lead. He said, "Stop being such a ridiculous people pleaser. It's embarrassing. Find out who you really are and be that person." He showed me that by tearing away the mask, I became real. I became an integrated person with ugly scars and flaws, but also with gifts of hope and overflowing with grace. My son taught me how to trust in a strange, new way, not by keeping up the ruse of perfect mom, also known as control freak harpy, who drove myself and everyone around me just ever so slightly crazy and just a teensy bit insane. But in place of needing to control everyone and everything, my son taught me how to trust by learning this new and dangerous thing called one day at a time, this new thing called blind faith. I want to tell you the story of Mr. Magoo. Younger people may not have a memory of this, but Mr. Magoo was a blind, dapper cartoon character from back in the 60s who walked through life vulnerable but with a cheery, optimistic, blind faith and a sense of trust against all odds in a strange and dangerous world. One scene from the cartoon is of Mr. Magoo walking through a construction site, walking along a steel girder, and just as he reached the end of the girder, just as he was about to step off into the abyss, another girder suddenly appeared right beneath his foot. He didn't miss a beat. He soldiered on, one girder at a time, one day at a time, with blind faith, with hope, with a growing sense of trust in himself and trust in the larger world. So that's what Patch and I are working on, learning how to trust ourselves, learning how to become what we were meant to be, catalysts of trust that may spread ever outward to other people in our lives and beyond. Patch has this blind faith and trust that keep him going, one day at a time, one steel girder at a time. Please welcome my beautiful, wonderful, integrated son, perfect in his imperfections, Patrick Flanagan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a recovering alcoholic. My name is Pat Flanagan. And there's a lot of you here. Didn't look like that many up there, now I'm right here. So. But yeah, it's tough to follow up what my mom just said. She put it so well. You know, as many of you know, this is like a family disease. It affects everyone whose life touches the sufferer, as it were. And you know, the upside of that is, from my own experience, I've found, as I've recovered, not only have my relationships with my family strengthened, but I've watched them grow as well. They no longer have to watch their son lose his soul and destroy his life, just chasing after comfort from something unexplainable. And it's definitely a privilege and honor to watch men who I've known for over a year now to grow right in front of my eyes. You know, the average 30-plus adult doesn't really grow and change as quickly as someone who's recovering from alcoholism and addiction. Because, you know, as we say at MVP a lot, you come in a boy or a girl, and the idea is by the time you finish the 9 to 12 month program at MVP, a little longer for some people, that's all right. You're an adult, you carry yourself as one. It's by no means been an easy journey for me, you know. Almost a year in, I was struggling pretty bad to be a man and to act like an adult, you know. And there was people that didn't give up on me, and without those people, whom many of are in attendance tonight, I don't think I would be in this room. I don't think I'd be sober, and I don't think I'd be living the happy and purposeful life that I do today. And my first time in rehab was not my successful attempt thus far. I did return home to live with my family, and my life didn't change much besides the fact that I was dry, as we say. And inevitably I did return, you know, to the only thing that I thought could bring me comfort. And you know, it didn't last long, but it drove me deeper into this darkness that's so hard to explain, quicker than ever. And my second time in treatment, my counselor, who is also Elisa, who's in the back there, good to see you, suggested that I go to this recovery house, MVP. To be honest, I really don't remember much of that time period, but I remember being extremely scared. I didn't think I would ever connect with anyone at this recovery house or anywhere. And that's how I went through the first 21 years of my life, never thinking I'd connect with anyone, never thinking I'd be liberated from that feeling of being scared constantly. And you know, not understanding that feeling before I legitimately gave this thing a try was weighing on me. And you know, in MVP we go to 12-step meetings a week, and going through the 12 steps has been an incredible and frustrating and triumphant experience. and I have the the privilege to help other men on their journey. You know what I mean? And that's been honestly the best part of it for me. So I look out here and I just see so many of my good friends, some of the best friendships I've ever had in my life, and it's hard to explain. It's hard to put into words, but I'm certainly glad that it happened. I'm certainly glad that people didn't give up on me and continue to not give up on me, even if I do occasionally act out on things that I try not to. But overall, I can't express my gratitude to MVP, to Brian, for giving me a chance there, and to all of you for being here and for just being there for the people who need it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me speak.